The broader complication and the fear that I have in a moment like this is we are a nation that wants to fight our wars with all volunteers. And we should want every able-bodied American who is willing and wants to serve their country to raise their hand and do so. That can only happen if they feel like it's a place also worth working. We have just over time evolved to, especially like with women, there have become more and more women in the force. It's taken some time, but some of those women have climbed to the top ranks. I guarantee you those women had to earn the respect of the men who were serving alongside them, but oftentimes male commanders who had a say in whether they got their next promotion. And so to suggest that there are like women who are getting, special favor in today's military is just not true. I think that the military has, in large part, always been a bureaucracy, or excuse me, a meritocracy. Where it's not is sometimes in the general officer ranks. It's way more political than people think, but that's just the way it goes. I mean, their stars are actually approved by the U.S. Senate. It's just at that level, it's more political and less merit-based, and that's just sort of the way it's always been. But it takes a long time to get, competitive to be a general officer. I care about what it means more to, like, honestly, the people who are sitting in that auditorium today who are like looking up at that leader and like, I have to report to this guy. Or the commanders, I have friends in the military who are like, on the fence about whether they could get out and they could retire now, but they also could have another like 10, 15 years in their career too. It's this continuous cycle that at a certain point, some people are gonna just be like, I don't want to put up with this. I don't want to be a part of this anymore, And I wish we went more to like sort of the people who are going to get impacted internally versus all of the people in American society who are worried about getting impacted externally. I think you did see some of this in the coverage of the National Guard troops who are deployed to cities. It's like, first the cities get scared and there's like the political standoff between, political leaders. And then reporters are smart enough to finally like go chit-chatting with the National Guard troops who are like bored out of their mind, like clearly have better places to be, and like maybe you do this once, maybe you do it, twice, but at what point are you like, you know what, I don't need this like part-time job anymore. Or I don't need to like deal with time away from my family on deployments and this, like there's going to be really good people who are, I think, going to start to look at the trade-offs and like just not want to put themselves through it much more. We'll see how long he's SecDef. I think he's already lasted, longer than many people thought. So, but yeah. It's a real shame. My heart really goes out to the people who are still serving, because they really deserve so much better leadership than they're getting right now out of their commander-in-chief and their secretary of defense. And that's sort of like, my bottom line takeaway from today's, incident, which seemed a little bit like a school assembly that we flew people in across the globe for.